What's going on, everybody? Matt Malatesta, VYPE Media. We're here at the Coach's Corner with Aaron Beck, All Saints Episcopal superpower. Everybody, talks about these Dallas programs. Do not sleep on All Saints Episcopal. Coach, congrats. Y'all are 2-0. Of course, y'all had a big win against Prestonwood. You had a big win against Parish Episcopal. Just talk about, did you feel this vibe coming into the season of, hey, this could be a special year?
Matt, and first of all, thanks for having us. And we really do appreciate it. Appreciate everything you guys at VYPE do. Last year, we had a good year. We got knocked out in the semifinals by Liberty. And we lost our quarterback in the high school transfer portal to DeSoto. First time that's ever happened to us. Typically, we got him knocking on our door, and Keldon Ryan, who we're still close with, we're excited for him and what he was trying to accomplish. And when Keldon left, we got a call really fast from another family. Gavin Parkhurst transferred into All Saints from Trinity Valley. He won it all last year at the division they play at TBS. Just an unbelievably gifted QB. But the parts around Gavin, last year were young, and this year we're mature. And, we've got a really strong offensive line culture. I can't remember the last O-lineman that graduated from here that didn't go on to play college football. And I've got 3 senior O-linemen this year that have played for us, at least 2, one that started 4. And all 3 of those guys are going to go on to play college. And, if you got those guys, everything else can fall into place. But our wide receiver group is special. We play running back by committee. I've got a senior, Cole Powell Freeman, a junior, Jordan Billings, and a new young man, a sophomore, Alan. Dadgummit, now I've gone old man on you. Alan Brown. And we play running back by committee, and all 3 of those guys are doing great. But Cumate Williams is a talent. Hudson Reeser's a talent. Jake Powers. Golly, we'll read off all these names before we get out of here, but defensively, our defensive front, we've got a K-State commit, and Dalton Knapp, we've got a TCU commit, and Blake Robinette, and who has that? There are 6A teams that don't have that. And so that group of kids in these first 2 games, along with a really robust off-season program last year that teed up in January, I believe that's what won those first 2 games for us. We were just in really good shape for all 4 quarters, and that's key at the beginning of the season. We're an early morning group, so we practice 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and sometimes early in the season you worry if you're not out in the heat a little bit, that might be different for you. But all the programs around that I've talked to that do that, Southlake, Aledo, some other, Westlake, they all do it. They all practice in the morning. And honestly, it's just been if they told me I had to move back to after school, that would be good for me. I think I would retire. Should have done it 20 years ago.
What is it about? Okay, because you're right. I'm looking at your roster and I'm like, holy cow, these guys are super loaded. What is it about All Saints Episcopal that is bringing kids in, or is it just amazing coaching and you're developing them up to be amazing? Or is it both?
So I think there's a couple of things to that. Number one, our administration supports what we do. And our head of school, Tad Bird, has been here 25 years, which that's not normal for heads of school. And so Tad has stayed put. I'm in year 18. Brian Edmondson, my defensive coordinator, who I had the privilege to coach when he was coming up, came in with me from the school we were. So he's been here 18 years. I think the consistency in our program and the fact we're a college prep school and we're not inexpensive. And so while other programs sometimes I feel are just trying to win a bowl game for the school, the ROI that we need to show back to our families, whether that is the kids gifted in fine arts or going to ace the ACT or SAT or can use their athleticism to leverage education, the return on an investment here, we do that, I think, better than anybody. And it's not that we get kids scholarships. Kids earn that. We don't have any, we don't have any say in what level they land, but you tell a kid they can, you tell them they can't. And typically we'll sign in football 13 to 15. One year we signed 17 guys. We had 17 seniors, signed all 17. So a lot of people do throw that recruiting word around a lot at private schools. I can't speak to other schools on how they go about it, but in our school, we've built something that definitely attracts. It's an attraction. And there's public schools out there that get the same rocks thrown at them, but typically those programs attract people. And so, along with the college placement, the academics, the extra and co-curriculars, and then the faith-based component, I feel like we've got a really well-rounded approach. And we don't promote specialization in our sports. As a matter of fact, I don't let football players just play one. They have to play two. If they don't have the second, they're running track. And so we want our kid. You only get this one go around in high school. And I learned this from Todd Dodge some years ago when he was helping me learn how to run the spread offense back in the day. That even at Southlake in his timeline, he was like, "Man, we make our athletes have to play even at Southlake for our athletic department to reach its full potential." And while we followed that model too. I mean, I graduated, my senior class had over 1,000 kids. I played 3 sports in high school. So I think where club sports has gone today has turned into a bit of a money grab, and kids should play sports, because you get this a lot, Matt, and you've heard it probably. Doesn't matter where kids going on, Dalton Knapp, Blake Robinette, Gavin Parkhurst committed to Rice. I'll get a call from them next year when they're there, and they'll say, "God, I wish I could come back and play one more Friday night in high school." So it's precious time. I'm just thankful I've got to spend the last 39 years sharing that experience with kids. My head high school football coach is still in my life. I'm a grandpa. So those relationships, I think those of us that get into this biz coach more like we were coached in high school than we do at the next level or even the next level, especially today where college has become so transactional and high school is not. And on top, from there, if you win, that attracts people too. People want to win, and while that's more of an outcome of how we approach it. But it's still important. But I don't measure the success of our program by championships. I measure by relationships, the esprit de corps of the community, and where we're going to college. I mean, that's key for us.
That's huge. But when you win a game like that and it hits, let's just call it kind of hits and makes a ripple inside of the world of Texas high school football, whether it be public or private, and you take down a parish Episcopal, what is the bus ride home and what are the parents and the buzz around school after that?
I'm going to fall down on this a little bit too. So of course your parents the community gets super excited because what we have to constantly remind ourselves, especially those that are out and going on 4 decades, is that it's not our first rodeo, but it is theirs. So we've got to celebrate that too, while at the same time, we want to act like we've been there before. I mean, because we've had stretches here at All Saints, good grief. Back in the Foster Sawyer, Demetrius Knox days, we climbed on the Max Preps rankings, and it's mythical, I know. But, I mean, there was a period of time during that timeline, the rankings were DeSoto, Southlake, Denton-Guyer, All Saints. So we've lived in that space for a while. But no lie, I mean, good grief. When I'm looking back on the start of our season and we open up with Parrish and then go Prestonwood, so much respect for both of those programs, great coaching, great schools. So, yeah, man, I'm doing a little dance in my car by myself driving home. No, I mean, I'm a human being. But outwardly, it's a long season, and this is cliche to say, and I'll probably say 20 of them today, but nobody remembers September and December, right? And so that was a great way for our program to set the table and for our kids to make a statement of, hey, we can play with anybody. And listen, we won those 2. We tee that up with those 2 teams again next week. I don't know. I mean, those were last down to who got the ball last ball games, and it's exactly personally for me what I want on how I prefer to open a season, as opposed to the traditional somebody looking for an easy win that first game, especially, we enrollment wise at our school fluctuate. We're either the biggest 5A school or we're the smallest 6A. And I never know from one realignment to the next where we're going to be. So we build our program to live in 6A, even if we might come down to 5. And so what that means is when we came down to 5A, we got to stay with the 6A group in non-conference, because probably on the next realignment we could possibly be back with them. And you don't want to go into that group not being prepped. And so, that's kind of how we've built our program, over the last decade.
Okay, so you talked offense. Let's talk about style of play. I know you always have to kind of fit with the talent that you have, but how would you define the style of play on offense and then the get after it on defense?
So offensively, and Tony Franklin is a dear friend of mine, and I'll plug Tony Franklin any chance I get. Tony coached Jared Goff. Tony was at Kentucky with Hal Mummy and Mike Leach and all those guys when the air raid was born. Sonny Dykes was a GA on that crew, and then Tony and Sonny connected back at Louisiana Tech back in the day when Louisiana Tech went through the roof and those guys got the job at Cal. I've been running and working with Tony since 2007. So we've got a lot of air raid principles that we use in our offense. I'm also a huge Art Briles fan. As a matter of fact, Art Briles' grandson is a freshman here in our program. And so we're a lot of Baylor-esque RG3-2 with wide alignments and some things that those guys do that nobody could figure out back in the day in regards to tempo. And so when I met Tony Franklin, and we were running tempo before anybody was calling tempo, it was just a 2-minute offense the whole game. We had about 5 or 6 years before everybody started doing it, especially down here in Big 12 country. And so now I'm real proud of how we've morphed into, hey, we're going to play fast and we're going to play slow. Tempo doesn't have to mean always fast, so we're going to mix that up. Sometimes we're going to play like our hair's on fire. Sometimes we're going to huddle and slow it down, just to give our guys a break when needed, or as an off-pace look for a defense. And even though we line up, hey, these guys just want to throw. I'm my happiest when we're in 7-man pass pro and running inside zone. I mean, I love that. And so defensively, man, my defensive coordinator, Brian Evanson, again, I was Brian's position coach in high school, and Brian played at TCU, GA'd a couple of years at A&M. He's been with me for, since he was in the 8th grade, really. And Brian has gotten so good at what he does. As a matter of fact, college coaches should come here to clinic with Brian Evanson. We say we're a 4-2-5 team. Respectfully to Gary Patterson, Brian grew up in that, and Gary's a dear friend of our program too. We say we base out of that, but if you come watch us, we're probably as much 3-man front as that, just because of what Parrish and Prestonwood and everybody down in this land does. But we are, if you talk to teams that play us, if you talk to those offensive coordinators, it would just say All Saints is a constant pressure team. I mean, we're bringing not a lot of cover one behind it. More zone coverages makes my head want to blow up sometimes. Everything that we do, I call our offense for dummies, and our defense is like speaking Mandarin Chinese. You're not going to see freshmen playing for us on Friday night on the defensive side. Just can't do it. But it's exciting. It's a risk reward defense. It's fun to watch. There's going to be a lot of sacks. Every once in a while, you live by the sword, die by the sword. You're going to give something up to periodically, but we're also a very physical football team, and that's something I'm very proud of. Something our coaches are very proud of. Our off season builds that, and our kids love it. And that's kind of who we are and how we go about it.
Wow. Look. Don't be ho-humming like, hey, I'm a grandpa and stuff. This guy is super sharp and knows exactly what he wants to do on the football field. But just what does Coach Beck do for fun? When you got some time to wind down, what is Coach like to do?
Man, full transparency, wind down time for me right now, especially during the summer, even though summer's 5 days a week up here, which I love, not complaining or bragging. We just all do it. I am in my backyard in the pool with my grandkids. You know, my golf days, I don't have time. You know, I'm at that stage now. I used to play a lot of that. My wife and I love to break away 3 or 4 times a year to the mountains and hike, walks, do those kind of things at this stage. But man, probably like you, Matt, I've got so many great relationships that we've developed over the years, and there doesn't seem to be enough time to see people I really want to see. And so I've tried to make that a new initiative for me. Just, you know, randomly, if I hadn't seen you in a year, I'm gonna call you. You know, at least if I can't come see you or have lunch with you, I want to talk to you. And but you know, we've got 4 grandkids, all 5 and down, so those sports are about to kick. So when they start playing, that will be Faith Beck and Aaron Beck's new hobbies for a while outside of All Saints football, because like I said, growing up in a family business, retirement's for sissies. I can't fathom still at this point not doing this. That day will come, but I've been succession planning for All Saints since I got here in 2007. So the next me, kind of like Princess Bride, dreaded Pirate Roberts, the next dreaded Pirate Roberts just slide in, and hopefully All Saints football will keep on trucking.
Well, hey, man, great to meet you. I don't think we've ever really met, but we're doing a lot more here in Dallas. But hey, this is Coach Aaron Beck, All Saints Episcopal. Watch out for them again. He's built a superpower over 20 years, and this thing just keeps rolling. They've had 2 big wins right out of the gate. This is Matt with VYPE. We'll see y'all at the games.